Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Moggycraft Season 2. And last time we were working on the base. Now we worked on the entire west side of the base, and as you can see, things are done. We added in this little thing over here, just a tiny waterfall to add a little bit of detail over here, as well as a floor over here because it did go into a giant water cave on that side and I did not want that. Additionally, we built this little garden over here where we have some things growing, and I'll quickly walk through it, just showing you the details we put in. And I think this turned out really nicely. And we worked on the shore over here. Yes, it is looking much nicer than it did before, and I am very happy. But despite how happy I am with the base building, I will take it out of here, because right now, that is not what we are going to do. Last time I already mentioned it, we've been working on the base quite a bit. I'd like to think that UFO in the distance is going to be part of our base, and that maybe we will terraform the area over there, or at least give some indication of the UFO having been there. But other than that, of course, we had the tree house, and of course finishing up the tree itself, the garden over here, the entire west side. So I don't want to do any base building in this episode. In fact, I want to go as far away as possible. However, some of these they're pretty close, like the Moggy Dungeon stuff. Let's see. Some of them is in the nether, others in the game area. So we'll have to see what's going to happen today. Let's just press the button. And 3, 2, 1, it's the end portal. Okay. So this is neither in the nether nor in the well, it is in the overworld, but not in the game zone, as I was about to say. We are going to have to go to the end portal, and in case you guys haven't seen where that is, if we go into the nether and we take this tunnel over here, which is not done, that's why there is also a paper in the dropper to tell me to do these tunnels, and we just go through this portal over here. We make it to this stronghold where this tiny room is looking pretty boring. Yeah, no offense to Minecraft, of course, for generating this, because it does do a good job. No worry, Mojang, you do good, but we could do with an end update. Anyway, this could look better. So immediately I am going to remove the stuff that is over here, and I should probably put up a beacon as well, making it a lot faster for me to mine over here. But I'll probably put that beacon underneath the portal, and I am going to get rid of the obsidian first. Maybe dig like a big hole underneath it. Then I'll place on a beacon and mine out this entire room, which is going to take a little bit of time. So next time I'll record is when this place is a giant hole in the ground. Well, we have a pretty big empty box right now, and this honestly was quite a pain to do. The reason why is because this place was pretty much flooded. Everything outside of the stronghold was flooded with water. I am not joking. This felt like a mini ocean monument with how much water there was to clear out. And as you can see, I eventually just stopped at this layer. But had I gone further down, just look at how much water there really is. And you can see that here is where the beacon is. And as soon as I saw that, I already felt like I was in for a nice little treat. Yes, definitely very enjoyable. Not at all. And it's not just here, it was also above there. You can actually see water dripping down. And yeah, it was no joke. I might go into a creative world, like a backup of this server, and show you guys, just so that you know what I had to deal with. here we are in a backup of the world. As you can see, the bed and everything is still here. And if we just quickly go into spectator mode, you'll see all this water that I had to remove. And yep, the same over here. All waterlogged caves. That was quite a pain to deal with. But now hopefully we don't need to dig anymore. The sad thing is I might have to. I don't know quite yet. But I think I'll just start building. And while mining this all out and removing the water, I did have time to think about what I want to do exactly. And I'm quickly going to point out that yes, I am using a texture pack that makes everything bright in here. And that's because, yeah, I could place down a lot of torches, but it still would make certain parts pretty dark. And right now we have a good view at everything, especially on YouTube. I know YouTube can be a little bit problematic when it comes to Minecraft and light and all of that stuff. So right now, this is what I'm using. And the first thing I'm going to do is decorate this portal. And the second thing I'm going to do is immediately go back to my base and pick up the stuff that I forget to grab every time because I am stupid. So the first thing I'm going to do is decorate this portal by actually kind of obstructing the view of it. And that I'm going to do with these trapdoors. I'm also hoping I won't fall into the portal because that would be pretty awkward. But I do have my spawn set in that bed over there, so no worries if it does happen. Then what I'm going to have in these corners is these blocks with this on top, so a spruce fence. And let's see, can I maybe get up on the fence? There we go. And then have a couple of chains leading upwards. What I want to do is make a bridge over here, but I don't want the bridge to be simple and straightforward. I wanted that you have to jump across the bridge and then jump into the portal. And I'm going to have something similar with the chains on each side of these. So if we just quickly put in this over here, then we can put fence and the chains on top, and we'll have that going all the way through. I'm also thinking what I could do is make it, let's see, if we do this, then we could have an entire bridge so that you don't need to jump, and I imagine that's going to look better with less of these chains going up. So we'll definitely have one here for the sake of logic. And then we will probably not have one here, but maybe over here? It depends. I mean, we could have it over here as well, of course. I'll just have to try and figure things out right now. And that is probably best done with me trying to concentrate on the build for just a moment. We all know how talking and thinking at the same time works. Some people shouldn't do that. I'm one of those people. I shouldn't think and talk at the same time. Alright, I am happy with this shape. So what I can do now is switch things up. For example, adding in these campfires, which when you turn them off with the shovel, they will actually look very good in designs like this. Alright, the bridge is in, and yes, you do have to jump here, but I'll be sure to put something down there that when you do fall down, you can still go through this portal. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very fun feature. I'm going to put a dispenser or a couple of dispensers there with wind bursts inside of them, so that when you go in there, it will literally shoot you up into the portal because it is still accessible from down below. And I don't think I am going to change that. Now what I'm going to do is kind of go for the room around this portal. And I think what I want to start with is a statue. And the statue I'm going to be making is of an Enderman. And I'm going to put it not quite against the wall, definitely in the center over here. I think over here will be fine. Maybe, yes. Okay, let's do it over here. And it is going to be, of course, rather tall. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I do need to keep in mind the ceiling. So, I don't think I'll be able to make it as big as I wanted to, unless I'm going to move the ceiling up, which doesn't sound fun. Okay, yeah, if I make this one taller, it will definitely look a lot better. And that's gonna be the Enderman with the mouth open. So it looks like he's very, very angry. And I do start to think that maybe I need to move the ceiling up just a little bit. But I am not going to worry about that just yet. I want to make sure that this looks good. And does it look good or not? It does, but it definitely needs stairs over there as well to make it look like the upper jaw. 3 Enderman statues have been built up, and what I want to do next is texture them just a little bit. Make sure that there's some mossy and cracked stone bricks in the mix, but also I want to put something in their hands. And I think what I'm just going to do is make it a block of end stone. And I'm just going to do a 3 by 3 by 3, just like this. Let's step back and check that out. Yes, maybe one lower. Yes, that definitely looks pretty good. Now they are looking a lot more worn out. Of course, a lot of mossy and cracked stone bricks in the mix. And if you look behind their eyes, you see something white, which is the pearlescent frog light. So if we just turn off the texture pack, this room not only becomes a lot darker, but these statues are actually giving off quite a bit of light now. And I really, really like it. Now, of course, this is not the finished product. As you can see, everything is still very dark and looking rather ugly. So what I want to do now is terraform this entire room, which is going to take a lot of time because the main inspiration for this is like a temple, and yeah, I might want to put in some pillars. I definitely will have to add in a cool floor and ceiling and wall design in addition to all the terraforming. And I want to make it look overgrown. So that is going to be quite the challenge. But this wouldn't be a Mitch 1302 video without a little bit of a challenge. So let's do this. Terraforming is done, and as you can see, I did go up a couple of blocks and also went down by a couple of blocks. So what I've done over here is just put these on like pedestals, just raising them a little bit higher so that I wouldn't have to modify their bodies or anything. And you can see that I have terraformed this lower area, and it is slightly different from how I did it to my base because I wanted it to look more ancient and maybe a bit more overgrown. And while there's no real plants or greenery yet in here, you can already see that there's a lot more mossy stuff, but also I put in some tuff and some full blocks of mossy cobblestone and regular cobblestone. So that already makes it quite different. Some might say that makes it block vomit, but I don't think so because I think it looks good. Now what I need to do is, in addition to fixing this downstairs area, but I kind of want to focus on the upside area first, because if I'm going to have like maybe like a waterfall somewhere, I would want to know that before I start terraforming this entire bit. So yeah, what I'm thinking is do this first. And the way I'm going to make it look like the inside of a temple is by using a lot of wood, but also having a lot of cracks in the wood that show the stone behind it, which is why I've created this circle out of stone. And yeah, there's Still a bit of space behind here, but we're not gonna be using that. At least not as far as I know. But if we will, it's probably just for light sources or more green stuff. So yeah, what are we going to do? Well, I have quite a lot of logs here. And I'm thinking, how am I going to make this fit in? Well, maybe start off with this. What I'm thinking of doing is having this go all the way to the top. So these will be like the support pillars. And what I also want to do is strip these just so they fit more with the planks variants. So if we just turn this into planks, we can put this next to it. Alright. I mean, keep in mind that this needs to go all the way up and all the way down and all the way around. And that is going to take a little bit of time, so I'm just going to do exactly that. And once all the wood is in, I'll be back. With the walls in place, it is now time to add detail, and what I'm going to do is just delete a bunch of this and replace it with stairs and slabs. So we have some stairs, we have some slabs. We add those in, and that already makes one crack in the wall. Now, ideally, I would put some mossy cobblestone behind here and mix that in with other blocks like it. Where is my stuff? Because I am super bad at organizing stuff when I'm working on projects. But here it is. And I know there's water behind this wall, so it's time to be careful. Okay, well, first of all, that wasn't careful. And best of all, there was no water behind there. So, nice save. Anyway, now let's see if we can put some leaves in there. And we can also maybe check out if mossy carpet will work. Let's see. Over here, yes, it's possible. Very nice. And for the rest, I don't think it would work. This would work. Yeah. So what we're going to do is do this everywhere, pretty much. And let's just do this. Maybe have some moss over here instead of here. And then add in the leaves. Alright. Well, that is going to take a bit of time. And you've probably noticed these pillars over here. I guess this can look good once it goes all the way to the top. I'm honestly not quite sure because I feel like it's also very close to the wall. And if I'm going to have details in the wall, then this might not look that good. So for now, what I'll do is keep these pillars, but none of the details. And I'm just going to do the walls. And if I want these pillars here and decorate them, then I'll do that. But otherwise, I'm just gonna go with the wall design and remove these. The walls are in, and as you can see, they are overgrown and withering away. And I absolutely love it. I've also started on the ceiling, but that is not done. First of all, we also need to put those chains higher up and maybe make them connect to something. Honestly, I don't think we even need to do that because I'm also gonna have the ceiling be very overgrown. And as you can see, these pillars have been removed. They actually go like right in the middle of there. So, you know, if they do go all the way up, it would look good. But over here, I think it's a little bit too cramped and these pillars would be a little bit too slim for this place. It's gonna stick out like a toothpick on a birthday cake. So that's not gonna look very good. And yeah, like I said, ceiling needs to be done next. And it's going to be just as overgrown as the walls are. Lots of leaves, lots of the glow berries just hanging down, and a lot of mossy cobblestone in the mix. And I said something about waterfalls. I am not sure. I could still add the waterfalls like over here, maybe going down. But I think I'll leave that as a last resort if I really want to add those in. But currently it's looking like I'm actually not going to add those. Lots of scaffolding later, you can see that the ceiling is now done. And I've also added some cobwebs here and there. That's just in the ceiling, also in the walls and down below here. I have removed the lights from the eyes, and I think it actually looks a lot better this way. And as you can see, a couple of plants, I guess, chorus fruits, which all have the same shape. And now it is time to work down below here. But there's something funny that I noticed. So the first thing I did here is put in these dispensers with those wind charges in them, just to shoot yourself up into the portal. However, I didn't expect the effect to be lasting once you're through. Because if you guys don't know, if you fall from high into the end portal, it teleports you to the platform and you shouldn't take any damage from what I know. But what happens when you get into this is rather funny. But now I'm also curious. So usually when you have this set up, you can simply fall down and you won't take any fall damage. So just quickly strip myself of everything, put it in a chest over there. And I'm going to see if it's going to make me take fall damage or not. Let's see. It does not. Okay, that's good at least. That means that I don't need to put like a ceiling up here or anything to prevent people from taking the fall damage. Or pull any other stuns and tricks to make sure that no one dies from that. And I can just keep it like this. And for those who don't know that it will happen, because I imagine the first time people get here, they are gonna fall because of that little gap over there. They will simply have to deal with that, and I think that's hilarious. But anyway, time to get started on the floor. And it's going to be very simple. It's going to look as natural as possible. And I think what we can do is put in a couple of trees, both down below and up here. And on the floor, I also want to put some dripstone just sticking up, as if it is actually dangerous to fall down there. But in reality, of course, it's not going to be dangerous. I don't want this to kill anyone. This should also... Oh, you can actually walk up it, apparently. Worst case scenario, though, if someone does fall here, they will fall into the water that's going to be over here. And here we have it, the final product. It is now done. It's looking very overgrown, and I am loving it. Now don't worry about those items, those are gonna despawn. I don't want the red and yellow flowers all throughout this. It's going to look very much out of place, I think, so I decided to delete those. And yeah, as you can see, it is looking overgrown. It is looking like an ancient ruin. And I am very happy with how this turned out. This temple of the end is now done. And it is of course functional with the portal in the middle. Also very accessible. And just a backup in case you do fall down. Yes, I am very happy. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. And if you did, then you know what to do. And I will see you next time. Bye bye. This is the end of the episode. Ha ha ha.